calling on changes on that particular bill. Earlier on, we did sit down with Dedan Chege to make sense of this particular bill and also the court battle that Okia Omtatah is actually pushing at the moment. Here is that particular interview. All right, now the 2023 finance bill has been a subject of debate for the better part of this month and last month. We want to make some sense of it because each political faction is coming out to give their opinion on the same. Deputy President Dedan Chege says it will go and be passed in Parliament despite the opposition. To help us make sense of this, I'm joined by Wakili Dedan Chege. Thank you so much for your time, Wakili.
Karibu sana.
All right, real quick on this particular subject, who has the final say on this finance bill debate? We see the president, the deputy president insisting that it will pass as it is despite this huge opposition.
The buck stops with the Parliament. It has to be passed in Parliament, either with amendments or without amendments. But basically, the buck stops with the Parliament.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's come back to the issue of public participation that has been happening. What can we expect as Kenyans from this public participation?
Mostly, as you have just said, the executive has been so vocal in terms of the bill has to go through. So we have seen a lot of public participation going on. We have seen about 1,000 memorandum being presented to the committee, but basically, the constitution requires that we conduct public participation in all our legislative agenda. However, I do not see much going into the public participation. It's just a way of, in my opinion, it's a way of just fulfilling the requirements of the Constitution.
Okay. Yes. Now, this particular issue going a little bit political, where we've seen the deputy president insisting that it will pass as it is, and also the president just coming out and calling on the members that are allied to his political faction to go ahead and pass the bill as it is. At the end of the day, despite all this, what was the need for public participation then, if at all nothing is going to be changed?
That's why I've told you, Brian, from the look of things, it was just an exercise to just fulfill the requirement of Article 10 of the Constitution in terms of public participation. Basically, the goose is already cooked. We've seen the deputy president and his troops going around the country and confirming that this bill will have to pass to go through, whether we like it or not.
Okay. Let's come back to one particular issue, because we've seen Senator for Busia, Okia Omtatah, moving to court to actually challenge about 13 issues that he says are very unconstitutional on this finance bill. From someone who has been on the corridors of justice, you yourself, what chance does he have to stop this?
Well, as of right, he has a right to go to approach the High Court on any matter that is unconstitutional, that he deems unconstitutional. He's challenging the process, and he wants the process, the High Court, to stop the process, if I may use that word. Okay. I may not be able to speak in terms of the content, seeing as the matter is already in court. However, if the grounds that he has raised are to go by, then by all means, the court needs to take us back to the drawing board and let's have a bill that does not contravene the Constitution.
So that is a possibility?
As long as he cites issues of contravention of the Constitution, then basically the court will have to stamp its authority on the same.
Okay.
Yes.
The people that are arguing, why did he not go through the Senate? Why did he not? Why did he have to go to the national to the court directly? He is a member of the Senate, so why did he not wait for this debate to come to the Senate? Maybe if you just shed some light on that, where we have the disparity in terms of that.
Well, as part of his submissions, he has raised the issue of the Senate being left out these are matters that will touch on the county. So most of them basically touch on the county, and he feels that the Senate ought to have been included in this process. However, as per the law, this bill is only a bill of parliament, so it needs to go through the National Assembly. And again, it's his right to go to everybody's right to go to approach the courts on any issue that they feel is of constitutional importance. Therefore, the issue of him going to the Senate, as much as it's not available, that avenue is not available, even if it was available, does not take away his right to approach the court on any issue.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, different factions, even non-governmental organizations, civil societies, have come out and say, if you go ahead and have this passed the way it is, because you're putting our recommendations, these are the things that we want actually addressed. If you go ahead, then we are going to take to the streets. At what point will we see maybe a difference? Is there any chance of seeing a difference on this particular issue despite this huge outcry from the people?
Basically, if going by the mood in the country, and if you look at a majority of those memorandum were against the bill being passed in its current form. So therefore, I believe if the executive should just hold on, there's no harm in holding on and wait until we have at least a consensus on the same. Seeing as this is a bill that mostly affects every aspect of livelihood. Okay. So if the citizenry has to go to court, the civil society, to the streets, then maybe they have some pressure, exact pressure on the government. You cannot keep quiet. Okay. If you feel your rights are being infringed on, please go ahead and do whatever you can to have the same.
But if you're going to go to the streets, yet the chances of changing anything are very minimal, what's the point then? Because, and I'm quoting somebody, this is the executive actually saying, you see, no matter how much you want to oppose this one is going to go through. And I believe maybe we don't have an answer for that as you wind up on this particular debate. Let me ask you my final questions, and this is in regards to, do we now sit back and say, this has come, it's going to pass, there's nothing totally we can do, even if we fight it, still they will still have their way, that is the government?
You see, democracy dictates that the minority must have its say. However much the government will have its way, it's open to we'll find out in the near future. But as long as there is an issue that needs to be talked about, let's speak about it. Okay. Let the voice be heard.
All right. Thank you so much.
The voice of Wanjiku is very important.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Karibu. Okay.
Right. That was earlier on. We were